I get this question all the time about hydroquinone and how I feel about it. Is it safe? What was my experience when I was using it? And I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. Using it myself, it's like I see the pluses and I also see the drawbacks to it. I think it's very important just to make people aware that there are some long term side effects that are very difficult to reverse. For some people, they're irreversible.
Yeah, so topical hydroquinone can be, people try it for skin lightening, but then paradoxically can cause this deposit to accumulate, which then makes the skin have a dark appearance. I have another video I think that I've made about this in the past, and people have asked me, like, how do you treat this or make this go away? And I don't know. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, because I know skin pigmentation issues can be a real problem for patients and really, very morbid. So certainly it's an issue. So that's, like you said.
So with ochronosis, we don't quite know how to combat it. For some people, they just have these very, very dark deposits of pigment that don't really ever go away. So it's like hyperpigmentation, but in the worst way. I mean, basically, it's like a nightmare. And then for other people, it's just they have, I guess, more of like a sun exposure caused hyperpigmentation when on hydroquinone. And I've had that happen to myself. When thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, it is kind of my fault. I should not have been exposed. And it happened to me on my arms. And it's like, yeah, I should have covered up. I should not have been in that car with my arms exposed because you're basically in a fish tank where the sun is really, really powerful. But on the other hand, it's like, oh, it's so easy for that to happen. Like, it's almost bound for that to happen unless you almost have like a fear of the sun. And trust me, you don't. You don't need that if you're on your skincare journey. Like, you need to be aware, but you shouldn't have anxiety about it. But it is a very real risk. Another risk is like the rebound effect with hydroquinone, and that basically happens when you stop. For a lot of people, and even doctors recommend that you don't continue hydroquinone for more than a few weeks at a time. And I've heard it different. Like, some people say after 12, some people are like after 8, and that you need to take breaks and use something, during that little intermission just to keep up your results. For me, when I went from using hydroquinone, it darkened, I feel like, almost immediately. And it was funny because it didn't just darken in areas where perhaps they got sun exposure. Like, when it happened to me on my arms, I knew exactly how it had happened. I could like tell exactly when. But I was also using it on my private areas. And it's like, as soon as you stop using it, they actually turned darker than they were when I began. And it's quite interesting because it has not really gone away. And now it's been a couple years. So, I mean, there's just risks, and there's risks with anything. There are some, I don't want to say off brand, but there are different brands of just topicals in general that have things that perhaps aren't on the label. So it's like when you're using topicals, there's a risk. There's just a risk. And it's so funny because I both love topicals, but they can be scary. And that just takes me back to glutathione. It's one of the safer skin lightening methods, but also it's one of the most even skin lightening methods. Even right now with the topicals that I'm using, I've noticed that there are spots of darker skin that I have missed. And it's funny because like it almost looks like a watermark, except the watermarked area is just the darker skin. So you see smooth light skin and then this kind of wavy just mark of like, the dark around it. And I noticed that in areas like perhaps on the side of my boob, which maybe it's a difficult spot to get to, or just kind of like on the back of the underarm, like where it kind of reaches back to your back. And it's like there's so many of these little areas, that these nooks and crannies that of course you could miss. And so making sure that your skin is even, and even when doing skin lightening peels, which for me, I'm going to be doing a full body skin lightening peel. And basically it's one of those things where I need to be able to have 14 days. It's not really 14 days of downtime. You're still able to do everything that you would usually do, aside from going swimming and like heavy working out, because that can kind of pull the skin. But you can still, you can do walking and, light weights and things like that, just like stay out of saunas. But it's more of I'm going to be looking like a snake, and I'm going to be having pieces of my skin constantly shedding. And it's like even walking through the house, it kind of leaves a trail of skin. But this peel, it's amazing for not only taking off the first layer that still has a lot of pigment, but also for lightening the layer underneath. So it's like I like to do it, I'm gonna do it, but it's like all of these things are a little risky. And even after doing a full body skin peel, I have to be very, very careful about like where I'm putting it, making sure I'm not missing spots, because I've been there, I've done that, and the spots don't catch up. Like you have to just do it right the first time, or just know that you're gonna have to do another peel basically the next month. But for me right now, trust me, Mercury retrograde is not the time. It's just a lot of things could go wrong, so we're gonna wait a couple weeks for that. But just like back to the hydroquinone, I do think that it's very helpful, and it has changed a lot of people's lives.
So I started this skincare journey one day after looking in the mirror. I decided that I wanted to get rid of all of my sun damage, all of these dark spots, and just even out my skin tone. I really wanted to try laser because I know it would work much faster, but because of my melanin skin, I could not do that. So my dermatologist suggested that I do a chemical peel as often as possible, along with a fade cream. So I started doing a chemical peel once a month. Afterwards, I would use a gentle cleanser. I like CeraVe. Then I would use the moisturizer from CeraVe. Then I would use my vitamin C serum. And then my sunscreen every single day, my tretinoin, hydroquinone, and a glycolic acid wash 3 days a week.
I've seen the most benefit using it on spots that are just really stubborn, that will not lighten. So whether that is a spot on my arm, or if that is maybe from a breakout that I had on my face, something like that, using it as spot treatment only, and then once my spot is lightened up, which usually it only takes a couple weeks, then, I stop using it. And so that's how I've kind of come to use it. It's still a really powerful weapon to have in your arsenal, but just know that there are, things that can go wrong. If anyone else is using hydroquinone, how do you use it? Does anyone have any horror stories, or just things that went wrong that you maybe didn't account for when you started it? Like I said, I still think it's great, though I would not be ordering it off the internet unless you have some type of prescription, just because you don't want to be using fake hydroquinone or just from a sketchy place. So just a little heads up on that. But I feel like most everyone here, you're aware of that. You wouldn't take that risk because it's your skin and you can permanently damage it. I am so excited. My 90-day accelerated skin lightening checklist planner is now ready. This is perfect if you're struggling to keep up your routine, or if you don't know where to start. Basically, this is day by day what I did to achieve my goals within 3 months. I tell you basically everything you need to know. All you have to do is check off the box. So I should tell you what to take in the morning, what to take in the evening. For different weeks, you guys will be doing coffee enemas. There are certain times where you'll be doing just different exfoliation routines. I show you or tell you about what topical I mix together. It's really affordable. This isn't something you're gonna have to put hundreds of dollars into, but it'll get you started. And basically these are my results doing this exact routine from basically 3 months, 90 days. So if you guys are interested, there is a link in the description where you can get it. I'm just so excited for this. I worked so hard on it, and yeah, it tells you just step by step what to do every day. You just check it off. You don't have to really think about it. And yeah, it's going to really help you achieve your goals.